Hi, thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me for this interview. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this with me. Before we begin, I just want to explain the purpose of the interview and make sure you're comfortable. Do you understand the nature of this assignment?
Yes.
This assignment has been developed to help students explore the meaning of difference and to understand how others experience difference. I'm in a class called Intergroup Relations at Indiana Wesleyan University, and I am a social work major. The goal of this assignment is to gain cultural competence and to develop relationships with people who are different from me. I will be
Hmm.
asking questions that explore topics such as religion, age, discrimination, social class, sexual orientation, and other aspects of identity. Does that make sense? And do you have any questions before we begin?
Yeah, it makes sense. No questions so
Awesome.
far.
Wonderful. I also want you to know that you're only expected to share what you're comfortable with. You can skip any questions, stop the interview at any time, or ask me to move on. There are no right or wrong answers. I'm simply interested in hearing about your experiences. Thank you again, and let us get
All
started. What
right.
name were you given at birth?
Cheshire Graham.
How old are you, or would you prefer to choose an age range?
I am 33 years old.
Wonderful. Do you have a religious or spiritual affiliation? And if so, what is it? If not, what are the reasons?
I will consider myself more spiritual than religious. Growing up, though, my parents have practiced the Hebrew religion, so I'll align closely to that if, I had to give a say so. And just because I don't know, I just always felt like I want to be, my own person and follow my own traditions and things to that nature. But far as aligning with Hebrew, I do some of the traditions, such as I don't eat pork. Um, and, I do believe in the Most High. But other than that, that's the extent to me aligning with that religion.
Okay, cool. What is your gender identity?
Female, she,
And yes,
her.
wonderful. What is your racial or ethnic identification?
African American,
What is your marital status?
married.
Okay. What did your childhood look like?
So growing up, I grew up with both parents, my father and then siblings. Always been a close-knit family. My father, he worked very hard every day. Rarely seen him other than like at night when he'll come home or on the weekend. Sometimes he was off. But my mom, she always worked with early childhood education. So at one point in time, she, worked from home. I would help her, with the kids, hands-on activities, go on field trips, help, prepare meals, snacks, and, just help her with the kids. And we always did things on the weekends. She always tried to, let us enjoy life and, have fun, whatever that may look like. Yeah, and then my love for cooking, baking, comes from my dad, and then me being a people person and wanting to help others came from my mom, I'll say.
Okay.
Hmm.
Would you say your childhood was common for your culture or economic background?
Yeah, in a sense where I know being family oriented is very common in the African American culture, celebrating any accomplishments, gatherings, birthdays, cooking together, just close-knit family oriented, I would say it'd be huge in the culture. So yes.
Okay. What traditions or family customs is most important to you?
Most important to me, being together, spending quality time together, being open with each other. And I know life is, we all have, busy schedules, but just making sure that, we make time for one another. And yeah, just getting together often and celebrating life and each other, milestones
Okay.
overall.
If you have children, would you say your parenting style is similar or different from how you were raised? And in what ways?
Similar in ways of, teaching my son that, to always be true to himself, to always be honest, and understand to take accountability. So understanding that certain things aren't always going to go the way we want them to, but as long as, we do our best, try each and every day, and take accountability when, we are in the wrong. Um, yeah, and just trying to be positive. So
Mm,
I have passed that down
mhm.
from, my parents.
Love that. Thank you. I'd like to
Mhm.
ask a few questions about culture and beliefs now. Do you have
Okay.
cultural beliefs or traditions that you currently practice? I know you mentioned that you don't eat pork and that you do
Right.
the family gatherings and whatnot. Can you think of
Yeah.
other beliefs or traditions that you might practice?
Um, yeah, let's see. Well, that my parents were big on education, making sure that, we do our best in school, still having fun, but school comes first. So, that's a tradition, that I will instill and have been instilling in my son and will continue to do. And not necessarily, you know, still dealing with education, not necessarily, saying that he has to go to college or, he well needs to go, but just finding what his niche in life, even at an early age. So staying active and, creative and, hands-on and, just finding that niche, I guess, and staying consistent
Okay.
from, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, have your beliefs or values changed over time? And if so, how have they changed?
Um, I would say not much, but when I was younger and growing up, I've always felt that I didn't have boundaries. So that's one thing that's changed. Like, I do have a big family. We're always doing something. So, I am always getting pulled at different angles. And I used to always, feel like I had to do it and I didn't have those boundaries. So growing up, I have realized that it's okay to say no. I don't have to, show up every single time, especially if I don't have the capacity to do so. But that's one of the biggest things. Other than that, my values and beliefs are pretty much the same.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Sweet. What experiences contributed to those changes?
Being overextended and exhausted and not having much time for myself or making much time for myself. And when I do, I'm like, you know what, I'll do it later because I'm just like, I don't have it in me no more. So, just I guess with experience, it came with experience. But just knowing that, I want to have a fun, fulfilled life of enjoying what I do and not, pleasing everyone, you
Yeah,
know,
okay. How do you
not
define
having to.
success?
Success to me, I would define as happiness and settled in a sense. And I say that just because, um, okay, so we work to pay bills to, be able to do the things that we want to do, which is nice. And obviously you have to have money for those type of things. But at the end of the day, it's like, you have to be the goal is to be happy, to strive for happiness. So, as long as, you're taking care of responsibilities and doing everything you have to do, just being happy, having that, fulfilled, um, happiness because you can make all the money in the world and be rich, but you're not happy. And to me, that's not really successful,
Mhm.
kind of, sort of.
No, I get it. I get
Yeah,
it.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Do you think your culture or family influenced that definition for you?
Yeah, I can say, because, my mom always, um, growing up, she used to always be like, and be happy, enjoy life for what it is because it can end tomorrow. And she always tried to teach me to be positive, and, find the things that I enjoy to do and to make sure that I'm doing that, along with, having my responsibilities. But yeah, I can say for sure.
The next few questions are about experiences interacting with others. Please only share
Okay.
what you're comfortable with. Was there ever a time you felt misunderstood because of your background or cultural identity?
Yeah, I can say when I was younger, I befriended a Caucasian girl. We were cool, but I remember one day her sister, she had said something to the nature of white people are better than black people. So at that, from that comment, I felt hurt and misunderstood because I'm like, okay, especially growing up, me not being around that. So I'm thinking, treating everybody as equal, and not just because of the color of their skin, a certain race being superior. So I was just a little bit confused with that. But that would be, the only type of instance that I came across.
Okay, unfortunate. Have you ever experienced, well, that's discrimination or bias, I suppose, right? So that
Mhm.
jumps that question. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel sad because I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, huh? Better. Um, it just made me feel like it's a lot of ignorant people in the world. And some of them, grew up that way with their family. Obviously, they had to learn it from, home first
Hmm.
or, close relatives. So I'm just thinking like it's a lot of knowledge out there that I wish people were more open and receptive to learning, about others. And again, not feeling that they're superior just because of the color of their skin. Like it's way more than that.
Hmm.
We're human, just like we all bleed the same. So it was very, I don't know. I don't know. It was life changing. It made me open my eyes a little bit more too, you know.
It stayed with you. How old did you say you were?
I
Or
think I
about?
was around like 10, 11, somewhere around there.
Mm, very young. Okay. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
Have your religious or spiritual beliefs ever negatively affected the way others treated you? And if so, how?
Uh, n no. Um, hmm. That's a good question. No, not from what I can think of.
Okay.
Hmm.
Have you ever felt like you had to hide or change part of yourself in order to fit in at work or in your social circle?
Not so much change, much of myself, but when I was younger growing up, I was always self-conscious with my height because I was like one of the tallest out of the group. So sometimes I felt um unwanted or just like I didn't fit in just because of my height. I don't know. It was odd, but that's one of the biggest things, I guess, growing up. Never really tried to change anything, but felt awkward
Okay.
in a sense.
Now, these next questions focus on interacting with people from different backgrounds.
Huh?
How do you think your life experiences have influenced the way you interact with people from different backgrounds?
Mine, and I might be repeating myself too, but I know growing up, my dad always instilled within me to not judge a book by its cover. So from then, I always been open and intrigued to learn about others and where they came from and things that I enjoy or the differences, just to get a better sense of who they are. Try to treat people with respect, compassion. So.
Have you ever worked with someone from a different cultural background?
I have. So my last place of employment, I did work with a lot of Hispanics there. I wouldn't say much was different besides the language barrier. Sometimes like the clothing, and some of their cultural traditions was different, but otherwise, we were similar in the ways of like values and beliefs to a certain extent. So not much difference.
Okay.
Besides the obvious.
Yeah, we're almost finished. I just have a few reflection questions.
No problem.
Looking back on your life experiences, what has taught you the most about understanding people who are different from you?
What has taught me the most about what people are, the difference, um, is that, even though we all come from different backgrounds, we're similar in a sense of, for instance, me and my husband, we come from two different backgrounds. He's Korean, I'm African American. When we did meet, there were a lot of similarities where I was shocked because I'm like, huh, we're not that different after all, like far as values and um, growing up, similar, parenting styles. Um, I don't know. Uh, huh. That's another good question.
You did pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And then,
I
is
got
there
distracted.
anything you wish more people understood about your culture, background, or life experiences?
Just that. Uh, we are, open, we're friendly. Some people may judge, African Americans because they may think that we're standoffish, or I know I've heard a lot of times in the past, some, people from different races or, cultures, they'll be like, huh, I was scared to, speak to you or whoever because, I didn't know what I don't know. Maybe it's just um, I don't know, just knowing that we're open, that we're human, just like you are, just like everyone else. And it's okay, to talk to us about certain things. And we're not going to, well, me, I can only speak for myself, but I'm a people person. So, it don't matter who you are, where you came from, just being open. A lot of people need to be more open-minded.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time it's like people are just, they don't even know who they are. So it's like
Hmm.
hard. Like if you don't go on that journey of like being comfortable in your own skin, you're kind of scared to
Yeah.
venture out. Like my grandfather, he's so comfortable and he just talked to anybody, anybody, anybody. But
Right.
some people, when they're just like in that cocoon or that shell,
That's so
it,
true.
you know what I mean? They just don't know how. So
Exactly.
I think that's just going to be person to person on the level of that they know themselves too. So,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you for being open and honest with me. I just have a few final questions to ask before we close.
All
How did
right.
this interview make you feel?
It made me feel good because this I don't often have an interview, and just making me dig deeper into, some of the questions that you did ask that I would have, never even thought to, think deeply into. But yeah, it made me feel good to be
Good.
able to be able to openly express. Yeah.
Good. So did you feel uncomfortable discussing any topics with me? And if so, which ones?
No, I didn't feel, no, not at all. None.
Okay. All right, good. Um, and did I make you feel discriminated against at any point during the interview?
No, not at all. Never.
Good. Do you think conversations like this should happen more often? Why or why not?
I do believe conversations like this should happen just because it's a lot of um, people out there that they're very close-minded to things and others and, again, cultures and um, races. And I think that a lot of people have a lot to share that can help someone else out, or, that they can resonate with. So, yeah.
Yeah, for
It should
sure.
even be taught in schools, like
Yeah.
elementaries even.
Just to get like the topic comfortable with people instead
Hmm.
of making it like an elephant or like
Yeah.
something, hushed, but like have the cultural differences just embraced instead.
Hmm.
That's good.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share that I didn't ask about?
No. Is there anything, look, reversing it to you, is there anything, any other questions you like to ask?
Huh? Nope, I think that's it. But thank you
All
so
right.
much for taking the time
Yeah,
to share your experiences with me. I really appreciate your honesty and openness and willingness to answer the questions. Your
for
perspective will
sure.
help me better understand how different life experiences shape the way people see the world. And I truly appreciate you
Mhm.
contributing to this in my learning and my life. Thank you so much, Shelly.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.